I was pretty freaked out. I remember sitting in the theater at the end of it and just being like, what?
Oh, God. This is the creepiest story ever.
Welcome to the Rad Flicks Horror Movie Marathon 2024 edition. My name is Joe. These are just opinions. I am Joepinionated. I'm here again with Caro. We're getting ready to count down 31 days of horror movies. These ones are scary. These ones are rated R. These are not for kids. This is for the adults. So it's a movie a day, every day of October. October the 1st is a Tuesday. And so we're going to be watching one movie at night, every night for all of the Fallidays. Basically now we've got a second holiday season. It's the Fallidays. It's October. These are all horror movies, scary movies, thrillers. You miss a night if you're not a hardcore, if you're not able to do 31 movies, 31 nights. Well, there's going to be sort of options for second options, different movies that you can be checking out that are related to the suggested movie in the Rad Flicks Horror Movie Marathon. Happy Fallidays to you. Get your pumpkin spice drink from Timmy's up here in Canada. These movies are scary. A lot of them are horrifying. We're also going to be doing our Yikes Given. Instead of F's given, it's yikes given on each of these movies. How many yikes given out of 5? 31 movies, 31 days, every day in October. Start off on October 1st. First night, we're watching from 1968. The movie is Rosemary's Baby, directed by Roman Polanski, starring John Cassavetes, Mia Farrow, Ruth Gordon, Sidney Blackmer. I remember watching it and just being horrified, renting it on VHS. I owned it for a long time on DVD, couldn't find it today when I went to look. On the first, we're watching Rosemary's Baby. This is a psychological thriller, so there's no Hitchcocks in this. We're actually going in chronological order from release date for the suggested film.
Well, I've heard of this movie a lot. I've never seen it. I looked at it up before we were doing this, and I'm like, oh, damn, I don't want to spoil this movie. It looks so good. So that's going to be the first one I'm going to watch.
How many yikes given? For me, yikes given, this thing is, I'll give it 3 yikes given. Movie number 2 from 1973, directed by William Friedkin, Ellen Burstyn, Linda Blair, Max von Sydow, and Jason Miller. It's The Exorcist, 1973.
I think Max von Sydow was in Sound of Music, wasn't he? Linda Blair is a huge movie star back in the day. This is a freaky, freaky movie, especially if you grew up in a religious household. 5 yikes for me. It's a scary one.
There's no alternatives for these picks. For the first few. This is October 2nd. We're watching The Exorcist. The power of Christ compels you. The creepy thing I heard about this movie going in, yes, number one, I grew up in church, and so this is a movie about somebody being possessed, an exorcist coming in to hopefully save the day. I was told this was a true story. So this is another one of these ones that was just freaky. And the problem with when I watched it was actually that the neighbors had rented it, the Clarks had rented it. We watched the first hour. For whatever reason, it was getting too late. I think it was a weeknight, something like that. So we had to wait till the next day to finish watching it, which is so terrible in a horror movie. Make sure you have time to watch the whole thing. It's a really well-made movie that does not age a second. On the yikes scale, I'm giving The Exorcist 4 yikes. October the 3rd on the Rad Flicks Horror Movie Marathon, we're watching The Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974, directed by Tobe Hooper. Gunnar Hansen as Leatherface. This movie is effing freaky. I'm giving this one 5 yikes, given incredible texture to this incredibly scary movie. Deliverance is another kind of creepy backcountry freaky people movie. Here's the first night where you have an option. October 3rd, you got an option. You can watch any Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So you can watch a newer one if you haven't seen that, you've been waiting to do that. Watch any one of those ones on October the 3rd.
These movies were a big part of my teenage years. We would gather, and I remember one time there were about 12 of us sitting there watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre, just freaked right out. I don't know if it was It's the first or the second one. It might have been the second one. It was where they said incest is best, keep it in the family. 5 yikes given. It's a screamer. Like, you'll just be like terrifying, and it could happen in Texas.
On October 4th, we're watching The Omen from 1976, directed by Richard Donner. Now, I'm not going to say you can watch any Richard Donner movie. That was always the funny thing, was Richard Donner directing The Goonies after directing something like this. The Omen, starring Gregory Peck, Lee Remick. This movie is horrifying. Same ilk as The Exorcist. So you have options this night. You can watch any Omen. There's a few sequels. 3 yikes given. Not quite over the edge, terrifying. Next up, October the 5th, from director John Carpenter, we're going with Halloween. Halloween, obviously, you get a variable on this one too. Not only can you watch any Halloween movie, we'll let you watch any John Carpenter movie that isn't on this list later on. Here I've got Prince of Darkness from the Halloween franchise movie. There's the Rob Zombie ones. There's all that stuff, all quite good. One of the original slasher movies.
I've watched so many of the Halloween movies growing up, but I didn't actually watch the original Halloween until about 2 years ago when you had recommended it. On the yikes scale, I'd probably give it about a 3 to 4 yikes given.
Yeah, I give it a 3 yikes given. I think there's probably other John Carpenter movies that are scarier. The nice thing with horror movies compared to the Christmas movie marathon, also on this channel, like, comment, subscribe, you're on the Joepinionated channel here, there's a million to choose from. There's tons of horror movies or movies to watch in October. There's hundreds. So these lists will be an annual thing. This is the first annual 2024. October the 6th, we're watching The Shining from 1980, directed by my favorite director, Stanley Kubrick, starring Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall, Danny Lloyd, and Scatman Crothers. It's The Shining, very loosely based on Stephen King's book. Louis C.K. talking about Stanley Kubrick directing this movie, and it's just like somebody comes in and is like, oh, like, I think maybe you should do it. Like, it's like, yeah, no. I'm not doing that. You want to make that movie? Go ahead, make your stupid movie over there. I'm doing this. I absolutely love this movie. There's documentaries about this movie. There's many 10 out of 10 movie. As far as scary goes, I'm going to give it 3 yikes. I'm dropping it down. It's not that scary. It's freaky if you really pay attention.
I totally disagree about the scariness of this movie. It took me several times until I could get through the movie, and I had read the book. The last few times I've tried to watch it, I can't. I get scared right from the beginning because I know what's going to happen. The isolation and going mad and being stuck in those close quarters with all the visions and the ghosts. And yeah, it's so good. And then, of course, Red Rum, playing tag in the bush. Red Rum, gonna come get you. This is my favorite horror movie. I get 5 yikes.
So the alternates for The Shining, maybe you're Shininged out. A lot of people watch this movie quite often, and the alternate is to watch a Hitchcock classic. I would say as Stephen King, he might come up a time or two again in the future. Kubrick isn't a master. He's the best director in this whole show. You're going to go with the original master, the guy that created the genre of suspense, Hitchcock. North by Northwest is his best movie, but Rear Window or The Birds. October the 7th from 1980 as well, Friday the 13th, directed by Sean Cunningham, the first one. Betsy Palmer plays Jason's mom, Miss Voorhees, and then a bunch of other people that go to Crystal Lake. And, the year prior, this boy Jason had drowned in the lake. And this year, it's bad times at Crystal Lake. Maybe you're sick of the first one. Sick of the original Friday the 13th, and the option obviously is to watch. You can watch one of the sequels.
The Friday the 13th franchise, so good. My favorites are 2, 3. A friend was just saying 7 was a good one too. Watching horror movies might be something you do by yourself, but we did it in a big group of people. October
the 8th. This one's directed by John Landis. We're going with American Werewolf in London, 1981. David Naughton, Griffin Dunn, John Woodvine. It's about these guys that are traveling overseas. They're kind of waltzing around these fields out in the middle of nowhere. They come across this town. Some mysteries going on. The title tells you a little bit about it. After watching this movie, Michael Jackson hired John Landis to direct his video for Thriller, the greatest music video of all time. It's exactly the same, a bunch of it. So yikes given for me on this. I'm going with 2 yikes given. It's not very scary.
Yeah, I'll say 2 yikes given as well.
Okay, next up, October 9th, we are watching Sam Raimi's debut, The Evil Dead from 1981, starring Bruce Campbell. and that's it, as Ash Williams. This is a campy horror movie done on a really slim budget. Other campy movies done on slim budgets that I love are movies like Clerks and this one. These are the two I think of every time I think of campy movies that I love. I think of Evil Dead and Clerks. It works so well. He goes on to make Evil Dead 2. That's basically an upgraded version of Evil Dead, and it just gets better and better as he goes. So yes, there are alternates tonight. It's Sam Raimi or Evil Dead franchise alternates.
It's like a stoner horror movie. You can picture the hand walking along the ground.
Shop smart. Shop smart. October 10th, David Cronenberg, 1981, Scanners. David Cronenberg is another one of these guys like John Carpenter that made a bunch of super creepy movies. Parts of them are kind of gross. It makes you uncomfortable how good the special effects are in many of these movies. Not the special effects, but like the makeup and the props. Almost like a David Lynch thing. Cronenberg's kind of in that David Lynch creepy category. Your other option is to watch a different Cronenberg scary 80s creepy thing. Pretty sure this one's free on Tubi. Tubi. So that's like a free streaming app online. They also have Unsolved Mysteries on there, which doesn't come up on this. It's in my background here, but I recently watched some of those. I was like, man, this is a pretty good show. October 11th, Nightmare on Elm Street time, directed by the original from 1984 was directed by Wes Craven, starred Johnny Depp, Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. I'm rocking the Freddy Dixon flannel tonight. Heather Langenkamp. One of the greatest horror movie franchises ever is Freddy Krueger. 1, 2, Freddy's Coming for You. The alternatives are to watch any Freddy Krueger movie. I think it's just such an incredible idea. You're afraid to fall asleep. He's going to get you in your dreams.
I've had so many nightmares myself about Freddy Krueger. I'd get, these are jump scare movies, and you're just like screaming. You can't look. You've got to cover your eyes. They're scary.
So you can watch any one from the series. I mean, my recommendations are actually probably 2 and 3. I really love those ones. The first one is incredible. It's a great movie. I've just seen it so many times that I kind of almost find myself daydreaming watching it. The New Nightmare, Freddy, the one where it's him in the real world or whatever, that was pretty scary. I remember thinking that. Definitely the first one if you haven't seen it.
Or Yikes Given.
Okay, yeah, Freddy, Yikes Given. I mean, if you're watching the first one, it's the first one, and I give it 4 Yikes Given. October 12th, we're watching The Children of the Corn, 1984, directed by Fritz Kirch. Linda Hamilton. Linda Hamilton's in this one. It's almost like a TV movie quality. The quality's not great.
The quality is actually terrible. I rewatched this a couple years ago. I think it's super scary. It doesn't hold up.
I think it's all in the story in this one. You like the name Malachi. The movie doesn't quite justify maybe being on this list. If you haven't seen it, you should know. Of course, you can watch any of the sequels for Children of the Corn. Yikes Given.
I would have said 4 before, but now I'd say 2.
Yeah, it's got a production value of like a Little House on the Prairie. Yikes Given for me on Children of the Corn. Yeah, I'm going 3. I'll go with 3 just because there's certain things with that movie that I still kind of creep me out if I'm driving through the prairies. The 13th this year falls on a Sunday, so that's not cool. But anyways, directed by Clive Barker, we're going with 1987's Hellraiser. Alternate, you can watch any other Hellraiser. There's a few sequels. They're also pretty damn frightening. Doug Bradley stars as Pinhead. Freaky movie. Don't open the box. The puzzle box. Gross and freaky. Yikes Given. 5. Hellraiser gets a 5 from me all day long. All of them. They're gross. You can watch Clive Barker anything as an alternative.
Very scary movies. Totally gross. Hard to watch. It's like the sadomasochistic type of thing. It's bizarre. I want to say 5 out of 5 for this one, but I don't want to take away from how scary I think The Shining is, because I really think it's really scary, but I may be the only one. Yeah,
you know what? Actually, I'm going to downgrade this one to 4 Yikes Given, because there are scarier ones on the list. October 14th, we get another Stephen King entry from 1989, Pet Sematary.
Oh, God. This is the creepiest story ever. Wicked book. If you're a parent watching this, you can put yourself in their shoes, and would you do the same thing? I would.
Great book. One of the Stephen King's best. One of his scariest. You can watch any of the Pet Sematary sequels, the new ones. The Ed Furlong one, Pet Sematary 2, this is actually on my watch list because I haven't seen this one in a while. The prison guard guy from Shawshank there. 3 yikes given, but the book I honestly thought was scarier. Up next, are we at 15? On October 15th, we're halfway through the marathon now. From 1991, this one is also directed by Wes Craven. We're going with The People Under the Stairs. I think they're doing a remake. So well done. I just love the atmosphere in this house. You know, that one house on the block that everybody talks about but doesn't go near kind of thing. It's kind of got that Burbs vibe. Not scary, but just kind of, yeah, on the edge of your seat. It's not overly scary. For yikes given, you know, it's a 3 at max. No, I'll go 2. It's not very scary. Just incredibly cool. Love The People Under the Stairs.
If you've ever grown up and had a basement, we had a basement, and I actually had my bedroom in the basement when we lived in Edmonton, in the city. And I was always scared going down the stairs. Probably one of my brothers grabbed my foot while I was going down the stairs through the rough one time. I was scared to go downstairs. And this kind of just, I think a lot of people feel that way, you know, growing, like you're scared of what could be in the basement and what could be under the stairs and someone reaching out to grab you. And this is that movie that just totally just dives into that fear that so many people has. And I think I'd say 3 out of 5 for this one too. I'd actually like to rewatch this. I haven't seen it since I was young, so it'd be nice to watch it again, see what I think.
October 16th, get ready to get scared. And we're going with Candyman from 1992, directed by Bernard Rose, starring Tony Todd, Virginia Madsen, and Xander Berkeley. This movie screwed me up as a kid, honestly. I had to sleep at the foot of my parents' bed. I'm still horrified to this day if I go into the bathroom and the light goes out or the power goes out. I have to get out of the bathroom immediately. Candyman, don't say his name 5 times in the mirror, especially. Oh, he'll appear. It's kind of a Bloody Mary thing, but a big guy with a hook, and he was devoured by bees, and he's got all sorts of stuff going on. You can watch the sequel too, Farewell to Flesh. If you haven't seen that one, it's kind of not that great. But anyways, on the Fallidays horror movie marathon, we are watching Candyman on the 16th. Carol?
This movie is pretty creepy. I mean, it is like the Bloody Mary thing. And, you know, it was scary. We were all scared that Candyman was going to come and get us. And we would say Candyman in front of the mirror and get dared. And
I still give it a 4. I still think it's pretty freaky, but that's just me. That's just, you know, I'm carrying old stuff. You might think it's around a 3. My son thought it was like a 3.
Yeah, I'd say 3 out of 5 yikes given for this one.
October 17th, we are going with Event Horizon from 1997, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, starring Lawrence Fishburne, Sam Neill, Kathleen Quinlan. This movie freaked me out big time. I don't know how scary it really is. Like on the yikes scale, I'd probably go 3. It's a very good movie. You know, your alternatives are to watch a space horror. So any space horror, you know, Jason Goes to Space, but a space horror. Or how about Aliens?
This movie totally creeped me out. I don't like anything that has to do with other dimensions and flipping into time, doing anything like that stuff just bothers me. And so this movie, I thought it was pretty scary. I would say that I'd give this 3 out of 5 yikes given.
Yeah, just those scenes with the lights kind of flashing in the tunnels. I don't know. I have a few images in my mind. I did watch it quite a bit when I was younger, but I could use a refresher. Next up on the marathon here, we're going with, from 1999, The Blair Witch Project. Heather Donahue, Michael Williams, and Joshua Leonard. So that's the 3 guys. Heather, Michael, and Josh. Movie about these people that are going out to investigate this witch, the Blair Witch, and they get lost in the woods, and it gets scary. And it's all filmed like documentary style, handy camcorders. Did the first movie to really effectively do that well. Blair Witch scared the crap out of me. I thought it was real until I got into the parking lot outside of the theater, and somebody told me, no. I was pretty freaked out. I remember sitting in the theater at the end of it and just being like, what? Like what? Like so confused, you know? Like I felt like I was like Gene Wilder in a, you know, what? Like I was freaked out. Anyways, I think this movie, I've given it 5 5 yikes given. I think that's a very scary movie. I think it's a masterpiece. I think it's a great movie.
Like, because it does play like a documentary, and you do believe that it's happening, and it's so scary. Yeah, and just the way it was filmed and the lighting, and it's crazy. If you haven't seen the Blair Witch Project, definitely you have to watch it. It's such a good movie, and it's a truly just, you can remember the time when you saw it.
And it made a ton of money. I remember that was a big deal, and it was gaining all kinds of popularity. Have you gone to see the Blair Witch Project? Mm-hmm. And it's just like, what? No, it sounds stupid. And then going, and those people laughing at me because I thought it was real. On October 19th, hang on to your seat. We're watching The Ring, or the sequel to The Ring, starring Naomi Watts, Martin Henderson, David Dorfman, Ryan Cox. I watched this one overseas. It was memorable, scary. When I left the place I watched it at, I saw my first snake in the wild, and it was nighttime, cross a sidewalk in front of me. It scared the living crap out of me. And I was already buzzing from just watching that horror movie, when you come out of a dark space, out of a dark movie or whatever, and into the streets, and you're kind of, scary enough movie. It kind of, you're still kind of on edge as you're making your way home. It's a 3 or a 4. I'll give it a 4 yikes given.
Yeah, I'd give this 4 yikes given. This is a creepy movie. It's scary. A lot of people you talk to, they'll mention this movie. They're like, oh, remember when The Ring came out? And it's kind of like, oh, I think I had to cover my eyes for half this movie.
It's a VHS tape. It's this haunted, you play this VHS tape, and now, it's like, well, how the hell am I going to play that? You don't really got to worry about it, because I'm probably the only person in 5 blocks that still has their VHS tapes and their VCR. October the 20th, we are watching 28 Days Later from 2002, directed by Danny Boyle. So Cillian Murphy starred in this movie. I remember watching this and it's not on my yikes given. I'm going 3. I don't know. The zombie movies don't really bother me that much. Super fun. Zombieland, years later, was another really super fun one. I mean, Shaun of the Dead even. So I'm going to say, the backup on this one is either the sequel or any other zombie movie. We don't got a lot of those in here. Return of the Living Dead and stuff like that. Maybe they'll be on it next year on the marathon. But we'll go with any other zombie movie if you're not able to watch this one on the Rad Flicks horror movie marathon.
2020, when the pandemic started, kind of pictured it being like in 8 days later with like a zombie apocalypse kind of deal going on. And imagine my disappointment when it didn't happen. 3 out of 5 yikes given.
On October 21st, directed by Neil Marshall from 2005, I'm going with The Descent. Shauna McDonald. It's just Natalie Mendoza. It's just a cool movie about these girls. They go spelunking. I'm slightly claustrophobic myself. That's part of what makes this movie cool. It is a little bit dated, which isn't a good sign for this one being on a Rad Flicks marathon going forward. It has elements of Alien, of course. There's some homages. First watching this movie and just, being like, wow, that was a good one.
It's my oldest son's favorite horror movie is The Descent.
Really?
I'm going splunking on the November long weekend, so I'm not sure if I'm going to watch this in October because I'm convinced that I'm going to die. A 4 out of 5 yikes given, because this is something that actually could happen.
I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 yikes given, but it's pretty freaky. It's a good one. October 22nd, falls on a Tuesday this year, October 22nd, and we are watching another Sam Raimi movie. This time we're having some fun, again, because they're all kind of slightly fun too, with Drag Me to Hell from 2009, starring Alison Lohman, Justin Long. Sam Raimi just keeps it up with his ultra cool horror, fun, great time. Since Army of Darkness, this is the first one that Raimi did where I was like, yes, okay, we're in the pocket again here. I felt like this really is up there with Evil Dead and Army of Darkness. So I love the scene in the parkade and the mouth and the dentures popping out and stuff like that. And oh God, it's so good. Okay, up next from director Kim Ji-woon. October 23rd, we're going with a Korean horror classic. Well, a Korean horror movie. We're going with I Saw the Devil. This one's kind of gruesome. It's intense. I give it 5 yikes. 5 yikes given. Koreans got it down. Japanese too, but Koreans really got the horror genre down. One of the freakiest ones ever. Shout out to Darren. He definitely showed me this one. He's like a horror movie whiz. You can get a free month of Shudder. Why not do it for October? And that has a bunch of these movies in it. Not my favorite Korean movie, I mean, by any means, but it's super gruesome. Like, it's just kind of freaky. A movie called Irreversible. I forget the director's name. He's the same guy that did Into the Void. It was just like, whoa, stayed with you. This movie also kind of stayed with me for a while. October 24th, we're going with Get Out from director Jordan Peele. This movie is groundbreaking, one of the best in the genre ever. Horror different than it's ever been done. And in horror, I mean, that's usually the problem, is that there's kind of recycled ideas. I mean, there's whole genres of recycled idea horror movies, and a lot of them are super fun. I love them. I watched Slumber Party Massacre just the other day. Like Jaws 2. Jaws 2 is like an example of a fun, stupid movie where a bunch of people die and you're not really worried at all. You're just kind of enjoying the show. Anyways, Get Out, super funny. The direction is my favorite part, just because of how they film these shots. I don't want to give anything away about the storyline.
I don't think it's super. I don't find it really scary. It's creepy, but it's not like I don't think of it as being a horror movie. It's more like just a real creepy movie. It's excellent. I'd give this like a 2 yikes out of 5.
It's not that scary. I could probably go 3 yikes given. Next up, we're going from 2017 with the movie It. I'm going with this one because I'm not the biggest fan of the one from 89 or 90 or whatever it was. The old ones, reminds me of like it's a TV movie, basically. It's 4 hours long. This one isn't. There's 2 parts though. So I guess total it's probably 5 hours long. Shout out to my son. So you can watch any It.
Unless you can't watch the movie It at all because the book terrified you so much and you were scared to walk by sewer grates for years and years. And that would be me. I can't watch this. It's too scary for me.
On this night, no, too, you can watch any other Stephen King, horror movie though. Tommy Knockers is a good one. Firestarter, another good movie. The Dead Zone, good movie. And probably the best in my hand here at Christine, which almost made the movie marathon but didn't. But on this night, your alternative is to watch a different, It 2, It, the original, or another Stephen King movie. The yikes given for me on It is a 3.
I can't watch the movie because I'm too scared from reading the book, and I can't do it. I was scared for years to walk by sewer grates. I was in Bowen Park, which is in Nanaimo on Vancouver Island, and they have a sewer grate, and I swear I saw Pennywise the Clown. We were in there at night. I don't know what we were doing, probably nothing good, but I was just, the book is just one of the scariest books I've ever read in my life. I would give this 5 yikes given, even though I've never seen it, because I'm never going to see it. I can't watch it.
October 26th from 2018, basically the new Exorcist. It's not the same plot, but it's that elite of a horror movie. We're going with Hereditary, directed by Ari Aster, Tony Collette, Alex Wolff, Millie Shapiro, and Gabriel Byrne, possibly the greatest ever. It's pretty freaky. I'm going with 5 yikes given. Carol?
Got lots of jump scares. I had my face covered with a blanket for a large portion because I was so terrified. 5 yikes given, hands down. So scary. We'll never watch this again. Too scared.
Scenes in this movie that you will not forget. From 2019 on October the 27th, we are watching Ari Aster. The follow-up to Hereditary, Midsummer. Florence Pugh, Jack Rayner, William Jackson Harper. Remember, I watched it maybe 2 years ago. I watched it well after it came out. Man, I loved it. I thought it was great. And one thing I really liked, I didn't actually realize it was the same director. Maybe I knew that at the time. No, I kind of thought the plot was going in a different direction. I'm not sure if you picked that up too.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a few different times or whatever where it just kind of, it's like, oh wow, okay, I think I get it. Incredibly horrifying scenes.
It was so stylish and like it's a beautiful movie to watch. It's trippy. If you've ever wondered what it's like to do psychedelic drugs, watch this movie and you'll find out. This is a movie about a breakup. 2 out of 5 yikes given.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah.
I don't find it that scary, but I thought it was just beautiful to watch.
I'm gonna go 4 yikes given for me. I thought it was pretty creepy.
Wow.
October 28th. So another double up for Jordan Peele. We're gonna check out Us, another very creative new horror movie. I have not seen this one done before. He must be inspired by Korean horror movies, honestly. That's what I see a lot of that influence in his movies, and if he's not, I apologize. But never when you're watching a Jordan Peele movie, you're like, you should have done this, you idiot. Because if you think that, then the character does it. And there's usually an answer for that. And that's what I really kind of respect about his movies. I respect Get Out so much. I definitely have to have another Jordan Peele. I did like his remake of Candyman as well. Us. We're going with that. Caro?
Haven't seen this one yet, but definitely would love to watch it because I loved Get Out so much. So this will be happening. I'm not going to need a substitution for this one. Where would you put it on? Scary?
I think this one's scarier than Get Out. So I'd probably give it 3 yikes given. 3. So on Tuesday, October 29th, we're going to be watching In a Violent Nature, directed by Alan C. Gardner. I believe it's Canadian. This movie, won some awards recently. What it is it's sort of similar to, a Jason or a Michael Myers Halloween, Friday the 13th type of villain, killing people in cabins and stuff like that. But what's totally different and unique about this is that instead of you're following these like innocent campers around and then you're waiting for Jason to kind of pop around a corner and freak you out, or this movie follows the bad guy around. So you see his every movement rather than just, following these characters around so much. Like you see his movement, when he's around. Slasher, decapitation type of stuff going on for deaths. It's visually stunning. It's a good, really well-made movie. It's on Shudder. It was recommended to me by a couple friends, and I checked it out, and I did end up really liking it. I'm going to go 3 yikes given. I wasn't that scared, but I just thought it was really cool.
Do you think it would ruin my camping experience, or could I watch it and then still camp?
I don't know, because Kale from the Desert Island Playlist Radiohead episode on his channel, Joepinionated, remember to like and subscribe. He said that this movie actually did kind of like mess him up and keep him up a bit later at night. He's a grown-ass man. October 30th on the marathon. One last movie. We're going to make it kind of an easy one. We've been going in chronological. We're not stopping that now. Cameron and Colin Cairns directed Late Night with the Devil, 2023. So this is another new one. It's free on your free month of subscription of Shudder. A late night talk show in the 70s, secret society stuff going on in the background, maybe similar. We're kind of coming round table back to Rosemary's Baby here. There's a bit of that going on in the background, crazy stuff going on Halloween night. I'm pretty sure it was New Year's or Halloween night. I think it was Halloween.
I didn't find it overly scary. I was able to sleep after I watched it. It didn't mess me up, but it's actually super cool. Like I would highly recommend watching this movie. It's a good movie.
The yikes given, I give it 3 yikes given.
Yeah, 3 yikes given for this one.
Find it very similar to Black Mirror. It's kind of got a similar feel like that. On October 31st, Halloween. Happy Halloween to you and yours. The Fallidays is well in gear here. We're at the end of our marathon. And so on Halloween night, it depends on when you get home. A tradition for myself anyways, personally, on Halloween, you got to watch Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors. And I don't care how old or young you are. Disney has them all now. If not, go to your local thrift store. There's tons of those Simpsons DVDs sold like hotcakes back in the day, and there's a bunch of those out there. Grab yourself some Treehouse of Horrors or a season of The Simpsons. Get home, Simpsons was on at 8. And that's around the time he used to stop trick-or-treating, or you get like out of gas from running around the neighborhood for so long. Treehouse of Horror 5, that's the one with the shinin. He's got the shinin. Treehouse of Horror 6, that's the devil and Homer Simpson. Treehouse of Horror 6 from 1995, it's the attack of the 50-foot eyesores. Treehouse of Horror 7, Treehouse of Horror 3, that's Clowns Without Pity. Krusty the Clown Doll. Season 1 to Season 7, Treehouse of Horror. For me, Falliday movie marathon. Remember to like, comment, subscribe below. I hope you make it to the end. Like I said, there's some other options. This is more or less just about kind of giving you an idea of some shows to check out this October over the Fallidays. Check out the channel too. We've got hundreds of episodes on music and movies on this channel. Caro featured on the Normal People panel for Rad Flicks. And we're just normal people who watch the average amount of movies. Hoping to put a different opinion out there. And Certified Movies Rad Flicks, Horror Movie Marathon, the Fallidays. All these movies are certified rad. They're all cool.
Looking to hear everybody else's opinions on what are some good horror movies or fall movies to watch to get in the mood for the season.
Thanks again, Carolyn, for joining us today on Rad Flicks for this marathon. Lots of fun options to watch over the Fallidays, October. 31 movies, in fact, that are now on your list. If you're going to do the marathon, let us know in the comments when you watch the show. Let us know where you rate the movies. All the trailers for all 31 movies mentioned in this episode, there's a link to the playlist. There's a playlist in the comments below. So I'll have that all packaged together for you. I am sorry, I'm a little low on facts, high on opinions. Remember to live and let live. Bye. Thanks, Caro. We out. Thanks for checking out the Rad Flicks Horror Movie Marathon. Here's a review of the movies. October 1st, Rosemary's Baby. On October 2nd, The Exorcist. October 3rd, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The Omen on October 4th. On the 5th, we're watching Halloween. On the 6th, it's Kubrick's masterpiece, The Shining. The 7th, any variation of Friday the 13th. The 8th, An American Werewolf in London. The 9th, it's Evil Dead. On the 10th, Cronenberg's Scanners. On the 11th, Nightmare on Elm Street. On the 12th, Children of the Corn. October 13th, Hellraiser. On the 14th, Pet Sematary. On the 15th, it's Wes Craven's People Under the Stairs. On the 16th, it's Candyman. October 17th, Event Horizon. October 18th, The Blair Witch Project. The 19th, it's The Ring. October 20th, 28 Days Later. October 21st, Descent. October 22nd, Drag Me to Hell. October 23rd, it's I Saw the Devil. October 24th, Get Out. October 25th, Stephen King's It. October 26th, Hereditary. October 27th, Midsummer. October 28th, Us. October 29th, In a Violent Nature. October 30th, Late Night with the Devil. And on Halloween night, it's Simpsons Treehouse of Terror. Sorry, that's Treehouse of Horror. Like and subscribe. We out.